Hi everyone, it's Melissa here today for a weekend update on what I've been reading and watching and whatnot. I've decided I am going to call these videos, these chatty update videos, the weekend recap because I can't call them Friday reads because they normally don't come out on Fridays and it's not just books. So weekend recap feels right. So lately, what have I been reading? I have finished 2 books. I finished The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. It's tricky. This is a good book that was not a Melissa book. Let's say that. So it had a lot going on. I read it for book club, and I would recommend it as a book club book just because there were so many layers to peel back and talk about and things with the characters. It was just made for discussion. But there were a couple of issues I had with it. Namely, there's a mystery element throughout the book, or at least there's something that happened that you're not quite sure what had happened, and there's little breadcrumbs left by the narrator throughout the novel. But my problem with it was that when it was revealed, it was something that I had figured out like 300 pages earlier. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but the book's long. The book's like 600 pages, and I figured it out way before the end of the book. So it didn't feel like a reveal, and I do think it was meant to be a reveal. So that was something that I thought was not great. And the biggest reason that it wasn't for me was because the narrator, the main character, she was too distant for me. I don't think you could quite classify her as an unreliable narrator, but she definitely had that kind of feel to her. She was keeping things close to her chest and was only doling out information along the way. Sometimes that can work for me, but often it just doesn't. I need to feel closer to a character. I prefer characters that are warm or writing that is warm, and this book just felt very cold. So I don't think it's bad. The writing was excellent. I always enjoy Margaret Atwood's writing, even if the story isn't hitting for me on a sentence by sentence level. The writing was perfect. Like, I love her writing, but I just couldn't get behind the story, really. I didn't hate reading it, but I wasn't enjoying it either, so it just kind of fell in the middle for me. So that was The Blind Assassin. The other book I finished recently was an audiobook read by the author, and that was A Mind Spread Out on the Ground by Alicia Elliott. I'm not going to talk about this here because I literally just a few minutes ago finished filming a video of all of the books that I rated 5 stars so far this year. So spoiler alert, I gave this book 5 stars, and I talk about it a bit there, so you can just watch for that video. It's going to come out in probably the next week or two. And it is an essay collection, and it was just great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. For TV, I have been continuing my rewatch of Doctor Who. I am in the last few episodes of the David Tennant years. So we are edging closer to Matt Smith. And while David Tennant is my favorite Doctor, I am getting very excited to move on to Matt Smith. And it has nothing to do with David Tennant. I still think he's great in the role, but it's just like the writing, the episodes towards the end of his tenure as Doctor just aren't, they're rehashing a lot of the same material. Episodes start to feel like remakes of earlier episodes, and it's just like, can we do something new with this character? That's what it's starting to feel like. And like, once Donna Noble was off the show, I kind of mentally checked out because she's my favorite companion, and the writers did her so dirty, and I'll never forgive them. So I am just like ready to move on to Matt Smith. I did really like Matt Smith, even though he's not my favorite. I did really like him, and I really liked a a lot of his episodes. I think they did a lot of interesting episodes with Matt Smith as the Doctor. So I am looking forward to watching those seasons very soon. What else? Oh, I've been continuing watching The Leftovers. Talked about this show briefly. It's very intense. It's very intense, and it's right at the limit of what I can watch in terms of like tension and violence and that kind of stuff. It is about this event where one day 2% of the world's population vanishes into thin air. We don't know what's happened to them. The series starts, I think it's 3 years after that event. And so you're dealing with the leftovers, the characters who have been left behind and who are grieving their loved ones that they're not even sure how to grieve because they don't know what happened to them. And it is depressing. This is a depressing show. I am so glad I'm watching this during the summer months because I don't think I can take a show this depressing during the dark days of winter. It is also very intense. And I kind of forgot about this because we're watching it on DVD. My husband owns the DVDs because he loves this show and has been begging me to watch it for years. So I finally acquiesced. And it is excellent. I will say it's an excellent show. But because we're watching it on DVD, I kind of forgot it's HBO, which means they're allowed to show a lot of things that other TV shows cannot depict. And so it makes for some intense viewing. And I won't spoil anything, but we recently watched, I think it was episode 5 or 6, right around there. If you've watched the show, you will know exactly what episode I'm talking about. Something happens to a character that is very bad. And it is rough to watch because they show it. I actually didn't even watch the full scene. I had to turn my head and cover my eyes because I couldn't watch it. Excellent show. It's rough. It's real rough. But I'm gonna keep watching. Like, it is very compelling. And like these poor people and like their lives are just in shambles. And it's like I can't look away. Well, I did look away at that episode, but I do recommend the show, but you have to be able to stomach it. And mind you, not every episode is as graphic and terrible as that one, but a lot of the episodes are very intense and there's always like threat of violence or something terrible happening, and it's a lot. It's a lot. We're only watching one episode a week because that's about all I can handle. So that's TV. Movies, I have not been watching a whole lot of movies. Over the past couple of years, I have tried to make goals to watch new to me movies because I have a habit of just rewatching films that I love over and over and over again. But I want to watch new things, or not necessarily new releases, but movies I haven't seen before. So I make a little list at the beginning of the year of movies I might want to watch, and I give myself a number goal for how many new to me movies I want to watch. And it's a very low bar, and I still don't hit it. So I've only watched 2 movies recently, and one of them was one I have seen before. But in my defense, I hadn't seen this movie in like 20-something years. Something like that. And that's the first Mission Impossible movie from like 1990, whatever. I saw it shortly after it came out, and it's probably the last time I saw it. I saw it like 2 or 3 times after it came out. And man, that's a fun movie. I forgot how good that movie is. The set pieces, like when they're in the vault, the CIA heist. I mean, it's iconic for a reason. Watching it again, it was a thing of beauty. But also, there's like a set piece with the train and the helicopter. Like, it's just a fun action spy thriller movie. I loved my experience rewatching it. And I kind of am a bit glad that I waited so long because I forgot a lot of details. So that was fun to watch it having forgotten a lot of things. But I did watch one new to me movie as well, The Sandlot, which I actually knew nothing about. I knew it was about baseball. That's all I knew about this movie. But I thought it was so much fun. It was so cute and funny, and I would have loved this as a kid. But I love kids' movies, so I watched it. We watched it with our kid, who also really liked it. But even if I didn't have a kid, I just watched kid movies anyway. I watched kid movies before she was born, and I don't make any apologies for that. Yeah, it was a great little coming of age film, and I don't know what it was, but there was this thing in the 80s and 90s with basically this type of movie, very specifically coming of age, young boys around the age of 12 in the 50s or 60s specifically. Like I'm thinking like Stand By Me. The Sandlot had the same type of vibe as Stand By Me, but obviously The Sandlot's for kids, and I would say Stand By Me is not for children. Maybe teenagers, but it's not for children. Aside, if you haven't seen Stand By Me, absolutely watch it. It is a masterpiece. But also the novella, or was it a short story? Anyway, the work that it is based on, The Body by Stephen King, is also great. I like them equally. I really am glad I watched The Sandlot. It was just like a delightful little film, and I think I just like baseball movies. Maybe not a huge baseball fanatic or anything. I enjoy it as much as the next person, I guess. But there's something about a baseball movie. I watched The Sandlot and I'm like, man, I want to watch A League of Their Own again. I want to watch some baseball movies I haven't seen before. I haven't seen, what's the one with Kevin Costner? Field of Dreams. I haven't seen that. Anyway, I am quickly taking a tangent to Never Never Land. So let's end this here. Those were the updates of the TV shows and movies and books that I've recently watched and read. Please let me know below what you have been enjoying lately. I would love to have a chat with you. Thanks for watching and take care. Bye.